Magmin, sir.
Yeah, Gourav, please come in. How are you?
I am fine, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
So, Gourav, today will be, interacting during this interview.
Yes,
So,
sir.
tell me, where do you belong to which place?
Sir, I hail from a small village named Narwas in the Alwar district of Rajasthan.
Alwar.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how did you land up here?
So earlier I was in this academy. I was preparing for the written. After the written was cleared, I was called by this academy for my interview to here.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, you've been studying here earlier.
Yes, sir.
And what was the need for you to come here and why did you do it there only?
So the main reason that I came here was that the faculty was very good. I was very impressed because of the Mishra sir. He was very keen into my knowledge as well as the preparation for the SSB.
Okay, that's very nice.
Yes, sir.
So, tell me something more about Alwar.
Yes, sir.
Tell me something more about Alwar.
So basically, Alwar lies in the midway between Delhi and Jaipur, almost 200 km from each side. Alwar is a place known for its forts and palaces, and most famous for its the Mama of Alwar, that is milk cake. It is very much famous all over India. So basically, Alwar is known as the Scotland of Rajasthan or the Lion Gate of Rajasthan. Alwar has been a very diverse district with various cultures and the various tribes and the peoples of different caste and community living together in the harmony.
Nice. But there is something very interesting I have read about Alwar.
Yes, sir.
That there is some episode with Rolls Royce.
Yes, sir. Sir, there is a very interesting episode of Maharaja Jai Singh.
Familiar with it?
Yes, sir.
Can you recount it?
Yes, sir. Sir, Maharaja Jai Singh was the prince of Alwar, and he was studying in the London. Once, while he was in London, he visited a Rolls Royce showroom. So the accountant or the attendant there was, he did not give him much presence because of his attire.
They put them.
Yes, sir. He then bought 2 cars from the Rolls Royce and gave it to the Municipal Corporation of
That's
Alwar.
really come from a very interesting place.
Yes, sir.
So today we'll be talking more about you.
Yes, sir.
Covering various parts of your interview. So I'll first like to know about your academics.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would like to know, suppose you tell me about your education starting from your class 10 onwards.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to know the percentages you scored in various exams. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Then what were the subjects you selected and why? What are you doing at present?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What are your future career goals and how do you want to achieve it?
Yes, sir.
Then tell me something about your participation in games, sports and extracurricular activities.
Yes, sir.
Something about your friends. Who are your close friends? Why do you consider them to be close?
Yes, sir.
And you can also tell me about your teachers, the ones whom you like and those who don't impress you much.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
And anything else which you want to tell me about your education?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
So, starting from the class 10, my education activities, I have taken my education from Oxford International Senior Secondary School, that is located in the Rewari district of Haryana. I have been studying there from my class 8th onwards. So, in my class 10th, I secured 95.4% marks, and in the class 11th, I opted for the maths or the non-medical stream. In the class 12, I secured 96.4% of marks, and the main reason for me to opting for the maths stream was my career aspiration in the defense forces. So the maths and the other than science subjects are very important for the NDA examination. So I was keenly interested to join NDA from my class 10th onwards. So for that reasons, I opted for the non-medical streams to become a fighter pilot in the Indian Air Force. So regarding about my extracurricular activities that I participated in my school includes the Ramayanam fair. I was the house captain of my house. I was the kabaddi team captain. I have participated in several Olympiads and secured various state as well as the national ranks in the Olympiads of English. So later coming to my other things in the school, I have 2 friends, namely Rohit and Yuvraj. So I consider them both as my best friends, as both of them has been very helpful and kind in my education prospects as well as the other things in my daily routine as well as in the class. So as Yuvraj was the junior vice captain of my house, he assisted in my house activities very much. So in the school, the teacher I liked most was Mrs. Adnanagar ma'am. She used to taught me social science in class 10th. The biggest thing that I liked about her nature, she never beat or she never have beaten any student in her class, and the way she taught the basics to us, so she was a very big reason for me to clear the NDA written exam. Being not a student of the arts background, she helped me very much in preparing for the other than science subject for the NDA written examination.
Okay.
So the teacher, I won't like to say that I had very bad relation with any teacher, but there is some misunderstanding between me and the maths teacher. So there was a thing that once earlier there was an incident due to which he used to consider me as not so good student, but as he became regular into the class, he saw my performance, my participation in the other activities, and my behavior and my respect towards him, and that changed the whole scenario, and later on our relation were on the very good terms.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else about your games and sports?
So, considering about my games, I have been very active in the fields of the game. I actively participated in the games that were conducted by my schools, as well as I have also participated in several village tournaments. So, talking about my game, Kabaddi is my favorite game, and I have played it to the block level, as well as I have played it into the several village tournaments also. I have participated in inter-school volleyball games and was runner-ups in this game, and I used to play the games like cricket in the school, in the village, as well as I have also participated in the inter-college competition in the cricket.
Okay. So I asked you about your future career goals, how do you want to achieve it?
Yes, sir.
You can also tell me what kind of exams you have, competitive exams you have got, and
Yes,
what
sir.
has been the result.
So, considering about the competitive exam that I have appeared for, I have been appeared in several Olympiads as well as talent hunt examination. So, I have also appeared for the IIT JEE examination, in which I got 82 percentile and cleared the IIT JEE mains examination. So, talking about my career aspiration, I want to become a fighter pilot into the Indian Air Force, and for that reason, I am working hard on my personality development and covering over all the demerits in my personality and working into the improvement over them.
Okay. So you JEE scored 82 percentile.
Yes, sir.
Why did you join?
So, from starting, my aspiration was to join the defense forces. I applied for the JEE means examination to get the technical entry into the Indian Navy for the aviation corps.
Then what happened?
So, I got screened out from the 33 SSB Bhopal.
Screened out.
Yes, sir.
So what other SSBs did you attend?
So, I have attended two SSBs. First one was at the 33 SSB Bhopal, and second SSB I got through the UPSC NDA examination on 9th of January 2023 to FSB Mysore.
So what was the result?
So, I have been screened out from both the SSBs.
Screened out both the times.
Yes, sir.
So what could be the reason?
So there are two reasons. In the first SSBs, I was thoroughly preparing for the PPDT. So while the picture was perceived, I was haphazard by that, and I wrote a preconceived story in that. That was the main reason for me getting screened out in the first SSBs. And in the second SSB, so I think I fell a bit short in narrating my story in the AFSB Mysore.
So how do you think that you are better prepared now?
So I have been preparing over my communication skills, and I am working on better ideas and the better themes for the PPDT stories. I am also working to bind up my story in the time limited that is given to us.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What else?
So in this way, I am preparing over my weak loops and the failures that I have faced.
How are you preparing for all this?
So for this, I have taken guidance program from Rajasthan Defence Academy's assessors, and after that I will go home and I will work upon my weaknesses and would improve my themes and the narrations process in this.
Suppose you are not able to qualify in SSB, what are your alternate career goals?
So I am currently pursuing my BSc from Indira Gandhi University, Mirpur. I will apply for the CDS and the FCAT examinations, and for sure I would be able to clear the SSB later on.
Why did you opt for engineering? You could have gone to any through that AIEEE. You didn't appear for AIEEE?
No, sir, I didn't apply for the AIEEE.
Engineering exam.
Yes,
you
sir.
did not apply.
No,
Why?
sir. So I had not any that much kind of interest in the engineering or the other fields. My sole purpose was to join the defense forces, or mainly the Air Force. That was the reason.
Suppose you don't qualify, then what will you do?
Yes, sir. So I will try my best to qualify the examination as well as the SSB. But if I am not able to qualify that, I would opt for the CDS and the FCAT, and I would try my best to get out of the best from them.
There also you have to face SSB. What do you do?
Yes, sir. So I think I am doing my best and preparing all the weak links and trying to improve all these things in order to get recommended from the SSBs.
मैं बोला ना नहीं हो रहा तो क्या करोगे? What will you do if you are not able to do it?
So if I am not able to crack the SSB, I will go for the civil services.
Civil service.
Yes, sir.
So how would you like to prepare for that?
So first of all, my prime focus is to join the defense forces. But if I am not able to join the NDA or the any other academy that is for the defense forces, first of all, I would go through the syllabus that civil service is required. I will take guidance from better coaches and the better instructors and would thoroughly prepare for them.
So when do you think you should start preparing?
So I think as I was preparing for the UPSC NDA examination, I am pretty okay with my basics in all these subjects. But after I will start preparing, so after my last NDA examination attempt, and it will go side by side with my graduation.
So what is the both the patterns are totally different. So there is nothing common between the two exams.
So I completely agree that there is nothing between the two examinations, but the examination level of NDA and it could be CDS or FCAT is slightly similar in the way that the UPSC in the examination of the civil service examination asks the higher level of the questions. But if we prepare the CSE, the preparation for the CDS and the FCAT could be done simultaneously.
Okay, you should think more about it. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Anything else you want to tell me about your academics and any achievements and all?
So I have been the school topper in my class 10th as well as the class 12, and I have secured Haryana rank 26 in the English Olympiad in 2018.
Why did you mention it earlier?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that gives me a fair idea about your education and other background. Let's talk about your family.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
like to know more about your parents, your grandparents, other members of the family, their education, their occupation. How do you spend time together at home?
Yes, sir.
Activities at home in which you personally get involved. Whom do you approach in case of a problem or if you wish to share something? Okay?
Yes, sir.
Tell me something about your neighborhood friends. Who are your neighborhood friends and how do you interact with them?
Yes, sir.
And in what kind of activities?
Yes, sir.
Also tell me about your pocket money, how much you get, how do you spend?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else connected with it?
So-
Go ahead, please.
Yes, sir. So in my family, there are 3 members, including me. They are my father and my mother. So my father's name is Mr. Rajkumar, and he is a private employee. His monthly earning is rupees 25,000. My mother's name is Mrs. Rajbala, and she is a matric passed, and she works as a homemaker. So I don't have grandfather. I lost them at a very early age. So now talking about the things how we spend times in our family. So as my father is a private employee, he lives outside our home. He lives in the Alva. So it's only me and my mother who have been residing in the house for the last 7 to 8 years. So I have to help my mother in each and every courses of the fields as well as the home and the other prospect that is the work of the home. So I help my father, like he comes on the occasion, I brings him from the bus stand, leaves him on the bus stand. If he asks me to do something, I help in the fields making some carries and dhoras and the irrigation of the crops at the times of harvesting and the sowing season when the workload is heavy. I help them thoroughly in the field as well as in the house chores, like I brooms the house in the morning as help my mother in the work of the animal husbandry, like milking and feeding the animals there. So we have 2 buffaloes in our house. Yes, sir.
What is the earning from them?
So the earning is around 8 to 10,000 rupees per month from both of them.
Okay. You are able to milk the buffaloes and all? Can you
Yes,
do
sir.
everything?
So I am pretty
Or you
able.
leave it to your mother?
Yes, sir.
You leave it to your mother?
So I am able to do all the works of buffalo, from feeding them to milking them and all the other activities that is required.
No, you do it or your mother does it?
So most of the work is done by mother, but I help her a lot in the works. Like I help her making in the morning, and if she is not at home, she is gone to somewhere in the relations. So I do the work.
I see that you were preparing for JEE. So what was the numbers of preparation? How did you prepare for it? How much did you spend for it?
So for the prospect of the JEE examination, so I did not did that much work on the JEE examination. I focused on my basics that was taught to me in the class 11th and the 12th, and I worked on the book of Allen Institute. I bought the books from the Allen Institute, and I worked and solved a lot of questions from over there and practiced the regular test papers according to timely, and that was the reason I was able to crack the JEE examination.
Okay. You didn't give the means.
Yes, sir. I only gave the pre-examination.
Why not the means?
Sir, I did not want to opt for any medical engineering college, so that was the reason I did not opt
You
for
would have
that.
known your worth, ना? अगर आपने किया ही था तो कितना पैसा लगा था? How much money was being spent on that?
Sir, the form for the mains examination was around 2800 only.
So why did you pay for it?
Yes, sir. So the main reason was that I lacks interest in the engineering or the other kind of service activities.
No, with 86 percentile, 82 percentile,
Yes, sir.
it was possible that you would have cleared, or is it that you are just studying for the sake of telling that I cleared JEE?
Yes, sir.
Are you being truthful? Why did you apply for JEE then?
Sir, the main reason for appearing for the JEE was to get the technical entry. Technically, sir, I was going. The main reason was yes, sir.
So that you could have applied with that score.
Yes, sir.
Why not mains then?
So the main reason for applying for the JEE was only SSB, not the getting any entrance into the
Do you think in
engineering.
the hindsight it was a very good decision?
Yes, sir.
Do you think in the hindsight it was a good decision?
So if I got recommended, that have been a very good decision. But now I don't think it was a bad decision, because I was very clear from the starting onward that I have to join the defense forces.
You already tried how many attempts? Two of them you tried.
Yes, sir.
So, there has to be some insight also.
Yes, sir.
About yourself. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Even about your future career option. Why didn't you do some engineering?
Yes, sir. Sir, I am currently pursuing BSc, not any engineering course.
Why not?
So if I opt for any engineering course now, I would have to take a drop year for that. And if I have to take a drop year, I will be lagging for the, I would have less time to prepare for the CDS or the, because I can apply for the CDS from the next year onwards. But if I takes a drop
It
year,
was not very difficult for you. You already cleared NDA exam.
yes, sir.
So if you had continued with normal preparation, it was good enough for you.
Yes, sir.
Do you think that your decisions were correct?
So
What would you advise us?
So I think my decisions were correct, because I am trying my very best to get recommended this time.
Okay, that's very good.
Yes, sir.
Suppose you don't get recommended then, what do you do?
So I will carry on to my BSc with my full focus.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and
Then I will apply for the CDS and the FCAT entries.
thereafter, even then, if you don't do that,
So I will prepare side by side for the UPSC Civil Services examination side by side.
okay.
Yes, sir.
So tell me other things I asked you about your family.
So about my family, I have a lot of friends in my neighbors. The mainly time spent we together is to go for playing like kabaddi, and we play together. I help them in the neighborhood activities, like if it is the harvesting or the other sowing, we help each other in their works. If there is some kind of works in the house, we also help each other. So the time we spend together is helping my mother in the course she does in the house, and also spending time with her, talking with her and other things. So if I am having any issue, so the first person I have no issues with going for my mother and my father, but the main thing is that I have spent my almost whole childhood with the mother, working with her in the fields, working in the house, and sharing all my things with her. So I think my mother would be the first person whom with I would be disclosing my issues if I am having any.
Okay. About your pocket money?
So I do not get any pocket money, as if I requires the money for anything like to buy books or to something else thing, I ask from my mother, and I get the money, and I returns the remaining one to my mother.
Now that you are in college,
Yes, sir.
everybody has different needs.
Yes, sir.
How do you manage?
So I simply ask the money from my mother for the things I need, and I get it from her.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So tell me two occasions when you shared something with your mother or father.
So I was in a very bad state after I got screened out. So that was the time, the thing that I am not feeling good, the thing that I shared to my mother and the father. And so once I once we were playing and my friend got a fracture in his leg. So that was the thing I told to my father immediately to take him to the hospital.
Your friend.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you want to share?
So there are many things that I share to my father and the mother. So especially that is my father has been more educated. So the things that I share with my father are mostly the education related or the things related to my career aspects. And
I see your father's salary is very limited.
Yes,
How
sir.
do you think the household is being managed in 25,000 rupees?
So we do not spare much money on the other things. There is earning from my father's salary. We also earn from the milking process, the buffaloes, and we have around 4 or 5 bighas of the field. So I think that money is enough to sustain a life in the
4
place.
5 bighas of land.
Yes, sir.
How much does it give you?
Yes, sir.
How much does 4 and 5 bighas land give you?
So it gives around 2 to 2.5 a lakh per year.
Per year?
Yes, sir.
What do you grow it here? मुझे भी फार्मूला सिखा दे.
So
I got 40 bighas, I don't get 2.5 lakhs.
yes, sir.
Yeah,
So
what are you growing there?
So mainly in the region, both the Rabi and the Kharif crops are grown. In the Rabi season, we are sowing the wheat and the mustard.
What is
Mainly,
the yield of wheat?
yes, sir.
In 1 bigha, how much do you grow wheat?
So in 1 bigha there is about 30 to 40 months of the.
So convert it into quintal or kgs.
Sir, if it is 40 months, then it would be 10 quintals.
10 quintals.
Yes, sir.
Okay, how much money does it make?
Yes, sir.
How much money does it make?
So in 1 bigha, the earning from the wheats could be 30 to 25,000 of the rupees.
In 1 bigha?
Yes, sir.
10 quintals, how much does it give?
So about 25 to 30,000 rupees.
नहीं, ट्रांसलेट करो 2,000 रुपये बीघा भी मिलता है, इसके क्विंटल के मिलता है.
So
2,000 into 10 कितना हुआ?
sir, 22,000.
हाँ?
22,000.
का हो गया, चलो
Yes, sir.
22 का हो गया.
Yes, sir.
22,000.
Yes, sir.
चार में कितना मिल गया?
So 88,000.
80 हुआ, 4
Yes, sir.
लाख बता रहा कैसे हुआ?
So not 4 lakhs, it is around 2 to 2.5 lakhs rupees.
So
So
mentioned 4 lakhs.
no, sir, I mentioned 2.5 lakh rupees.
No,
Yes, sir.
3 to 4 lakhs होगा आपने.
Means 2.5 lakhs rupees.
You want to correct yourself?
Sir, I initially said 2.5 lakh rupees.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
You should know what you are talking. Okay.
Sir, the earning is
It
not.
was nice talking about your family and many
Yes, sir.
other things. So let's talk about your hobbies, interests, pattern activities.
Yes,
What
sir.
do you like to read? What do you watch on TV?
Yes, sir.
What do you do in your spare time?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And what do you watch on internet?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you can tell me about your hobbies and interests and your routine on a working day and a holiday.
Yes, sir. So basically, I am pretty busy with my schedule because I am preparing for various examinations like NDA, and my college study is also going side by side, and I am also preparing for the SSB. So I get not much enough time to do some activities, sir. But if I am free, I have generated an interest in the geopolitics because I read newspaper daily. So I read the Hindu newspaper, and I have a hobby, sir, gardening. Whenever I am free, I have made a small garden and grow some vegetables and other plants there, and I regularly waters them in the evening. So sir, gardening is basically my hobby, and I have generated an interest in the geopolitics. So now talking about my schedule on a day of working day. So I gets up about 5 a.m. in the morning, helps my mother in the milking of the fallows and the feeding of the animals. Then I goes to a temple, and after then getting ready, I goes to my college. After coming from my college, I takes a rest of about 1.5 hours, and then I start preparing for my studies. So in the evening, I goes to play with my friends in the neighborhoods like kabaddi and volleyball. And the evening after coming, sometime I goes for running and have some cardio, and in the evening I eats food and talks with my mother and goes on to my study and goes to bed around 11 to 11.5 p.m. So now talking about on a holiday, I starts almost the same in the helping my
How
mother.
do you keep yourself physically fit?
So to keep myself physical fit, I goes to an akhada. There is a nearby akhada in our village, so I practice kabaddi and sometimes have some moves in the wrestling as well. And in the evening, as I goes for volleyball, and sometime I also
You
go.
are a keen aspirant for joining NDA.
Yes, sir.
And you are aware there is a lot of physical activity.
Yes, sir.
How do you think you are fit for those kind of activities?
So initially I had, in the recent time I have lost about 8 to 10 kgs of weight. That is because of my physical fitness, physical activities. In the evening I goes for running and have cardio and some exercise in the akhada. So currently I am working on my physical fitness and I am improving on my physical fitness to join the.
How much overweight are you as of now?
So I am around 5 to 6 kg overweight according to the Airforce perceptions.
So they will just throw you out.
So in the 2 months I am working upon me, and in the 2 months I will surely get over
You are
that.
hardly running. You
Yes,
are not
sir.
doing any physical activity.
So in
You are
the,
written
yes,
exam.
sir. So but it is, I am working on my eating habits. I am
Working in the mind.
working on my eating habits means I am skipping the night meals.
You can skip anything. If you don't burn, how do you know?
So for burning I am playing kabaddi and working in the akhada or my.
कबड्डी में भी कुछ नहीं होता.
Yes, sir.
You get your priorities right.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
If you want to reduce, then there are so many schedules which are there. You just don't answer for the sake of answering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything else you want to tell?
No, sir.
So you said you are interested in geopolitics.
Yes, sir.
So that is something which I also like.
Yes, sir.
So let's start. Tell me something about this Palestinian and Israel conflict and what is the involvement of Lebanon in it?
So the involvement of
Lebanon.
Lebanon. So the conflict is very older. So when the Jews were expelled out from the Germany by the
30 seconds I give you.
Hitler. So the issue started when the UK won the Second World War.
Let's talk about the current situation.
So in the current situation, there have been various skirmishes between the Palestine and the Israel. So the Palestinians militant group, that is the Hamas group, launches Qasem rocket into the Israel, and Israel is carrying out air raids in the Palestine, and several have been died. The raids have started after the Israeli military executed 3 top commanders of the Hamas group, and for that the sake the Qasem rockets are being dragged into the Israelis.
What is the Israeli air defense system called?
So the Israel have 2 air defense system, that is Iron Dome, that was earlier, and now they have applied Iron Beam system.
Iron Beam.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's very nice. News to me also.
Yes.
So what are the features of this?
So in Iron Beam system is a laser guided anti-missile system. Earlier when they used missiles, that was a very costly process to destroy the.
So what is the equivalent of Iron Dome which is there in India?
Yes, sir. So in India, we are using S400 system that we have recently brought from Russia. By getting Katsa waiver from USA, we are using S400 system that is equivalent to Iron Dome system.
Okay, very nice. So there was a war between Armenia and Azerbaijan.
Yes, sir.
And there was involvement of Turkey in it.
Yes, sir.
So can you highlight this?
So the major reason for the war between the Armenia and Azerbaijan, that was the reason Nagorno-Karabakh. That was the major reason because that lies into the Armenian territory and it was a part of Azerbaijan, and it became a proxy war later on because Turkey joined from the other side.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
What else? What are the other topics which interest you?
Yes, sir.
What are the other topics which interest you?
So I read newspaper daily. So daily reads the world paper, the section which is the world, and I am having a quite glance over the policies that India and the China role, the role that China playing in the nowadays, and I am also interested to know about the Indian Air Force very much.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, how confident you are of getting selected this time?
So I am very much confident of getting selected this time as I am preparing very well for that.
You are preparing very well.
Yes, sir.
Is it?
Yes, sir.
How do you say that?
So I am constantly finding out my issues where I am lagging, and there is about 2.5 months left for my SSB, and I am sure I will work upon that and would get over them.
Okay. So China has become a big pain for the world.
Yes, sir.
So what are the issues which concern China and rest of the world?
So please repeat.
China has been asserting itself of late.
Yes, sir.
So what are the issues between China and rest of the world?
Sir, the major issue that China is asserting itself is because of the big pockets that the China have. So the biggest power that China is having its forex reserves. Because of that, it is investing in the various poor countries like that of the Sri Lanka, Pakistan, and the other South African nation. China has heavily invested in them through the various projects like that is the Belt and Road Initiative, and the one example of that has been the Sri Lanka's bankruptcy in the recent times. So for that reasons, they are all falling into the debt trap of China, and that has become a very severe issue for the other nations.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
that's it.
So there are other issues also like concerning to the India. There have been various border skirmishes. China is developing pressure over the India in the border areas of Arunachal and the Kashmir region as Dapsang in the Damchok, and there has been recently a skirmish in the Tamang area
Can
also.
you tell me something more about Quad?
So more about Quad. Sir, Quad is a military organization between four nations, namely USA, Japan, India, and Australia. So the Quad meeting is a defense cooperation of the four nations. They regularly held exercise Malabar, that is the naval exercise, and the aim of the Quad is the peaceful Indo-Pacific region, and all the nations are working towards it.
What are the implications of latest find of lithium in Rajasthan?
So the biggest implication of the lithium in the Rajasthan is that as the world is moving toward eco-friendly nature, and lithium is a very important element for the electronic devices like that of the batteries. If the lithium is taken from the Rajasthan as well as it was earlier found into the Srinagar, Jammu Kashmir also, it would propel India's growth toward getting an eco-friendly nation.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So you did not tell me how do you use your TV, internet, and other things.
So I don't watch TV as there is no TV in our house. But whenever I get free time, I watches about cricket and the kabaddi. And as now the IPL is going on, I watches IPL on the mobile phone.
How do you use the internet?
So
How do you use the internet?
Sir, using the internet is for my studies. As I studies from my home, I use the internet for my studies. Rather than that, as I have mentioned, my hobby is geopolitics. So I subscribe to many channels like the Study IQ and the World Affairs and others.
So you want to join Airforce.
Yes, sir.
So which is the latest weapon which has been acquired by Airforce?
So there are other things in terms of the aircraft. The aircraft is working upon 3 aircrafts to be procured. That is HAL Tejas Mark II aircraft. They are also working in twin engine deck based fighter aircraft and the advanced multi-role combat aircraft. These are the aircraft that Indian Air Force is working
What
on.
is first generation, second generation, third generation?
So generation is a term that is
nowadays it is what fifth generation?
yes, sir. So
Say.
yes, sir.
What does it mean?
So the generation is a term which is related to the turbojet engines, not the turboprop engine. So generation takes into account of the avionics, the aircraft designs.
What is different between turbojet and turboprop?
So the major difference between the turbojet engine and the turboprop engine, in the turboprop engine there is a propeller which pushes the air backward, and that is the because of the third law of the Newton, it moves forward. But in the case of
So there is a term called aerofoil,
yes, sir.
which every Air Force person knows.
Yes, sir.
So what do you think is an aerofoil?
Yes, sir.
And how does the difference of pressure work?
So aerofoil is placed on the backside of the wings. When the airfoil is turned downside, the air is pushed on downside and the aircraft elevates. When the aerofoil is turned upside, the pressure of the air goes upside and the aircraft declines in
Can you
the.
explain to me Bernoulli's theorem?
So Bernoulli's principle is the principle on which an aircraft flies. So when the air is dragged from the upper side and the downward side of the wings of the aircraft, it gets up into the air.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
No, explain it more.
So I am not currently knowing about the principle, but the basics of the Bernoulli theorem is that when the air
What is the
is
principle of hydraulics?
hydraulics. Sorry, sir, I don't know about that.
Do you understand? There are hydraulic brakes and all vehicles have got brakes.
So the pressure brakes, hydraulic brakes. I think the pressure brakes.
How does the pressure work in the hydraulic system?
Sorry, sir, I don't know about that.
Okay, doesn't matter. And do you know what is the characteristic of electricity? How does it flow?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay.
So electricity flows from the higher potential to the lower potential.
Then What are the various fields acting on it?
So the various forces of the fields acting.
Yeah.
So the various
In an electric wire,
yes sir.
what are the various elements which are acting when a current is flowing from higher to lower potential?
So the various elements that are working, that the current is the flow of the charges, and the charge is constituted by the flow of the electrons. So when electrons flows, the current flows, and the current is taken to be flown into the opposite direction of the movement
What
of
about
the.
magnetic field?
So magnetic field is generated when current flows through an magnetic or the electric wire. A magnetic field is generated, and so magnetic field is generated when it is the current passes through a straight wire.
Defined?
Yes sir.
How is it defined in simple rule? How is it defined?
So it is defined by the right hand screw rule. If that yes sir.
Very good. Okay. So you have told me that you have future plans. If you are not going to go into the defense forces, you will go in civil services.
Yes sir.
So is it only Air Force or it is any of the defense forces you want to go?
So all the defense forces in my I think is equivalent, but I am more interested into the fighter aircrafts and the fighter jets.
Suppose you don't clear PMT, then what is it you are going to do?
So for sure I will join the defense forces.
Okay.
Yes,
so
sir.
what do you know about army?
So Indian Army is the solely responsible for the territorial integrity of the nation, safeguarding the national interest.
What is the organization of army?
So the organization of army is first of all at the top there is the headquarters of Indian Army, then the commands, then the corps, then division, then brigade.
What is a corps? How do you define a corps?
So in
What kind of various units come under?
so the various unit that's come under the corps, that is the mechanical corps or the aviation corps.
आपको बेस
So a corps comes a comprehensive term like that which controls all the a similar kind of activities that has to be done into the army. That is, it could be one corps is commanding over the aviation, one is the engineers corps, one is the infantry or
What is
the.
a field formation?
Yes sir.
Theatre field formation.
Yes, sir.
How do you define a corps? Corps headquarters. Then it has got divisions under it.
Yes sir. So a corps is commanded by the lieutenant general officer.
Yeah.
Yes sir. So it is the intermediate unit that.
What is under a corps?
So under the corps there is a division.
How many?
So I don't know about that.
Thank you. It was nice. Let me check about your name. How do you spell your name?
So my name is spelled as Gourav. Gaurav Kumar.
Gaurav.
Yes, sir.
So why there is no A into it? It is O.
So it was my parent decision that the spelling they knew, they wrote it like that.
Huh?
So the spelling that they knew, they wrote into the name slip. Gaurav.
Okay.
Yes,
Or
sir.
is it to do something with numerology?
Yes, sir.
Is it something to do with numerology?
No, sir.
What is numerology?
Sorry, sir. I don't know about that.
You don't understand what is numerology.
No, sir. I don't comprehend the Hindi meaning of that, and
You
I.
don't comprehend what
Yes,
it is.
yes, sir.
Oh, thank you. That was nice. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir.